Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. And I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today I'm going to have to talk a little bit differently. My voice is a little jammed up. I got that I don't know what it is. I'm sad. Say again, everybody, be careful out there. Make sure you're exercising, not even exercising, eating right, and taking very careful to what it is that you're consuming. It's not as much about the exercise as it is what you're eating, what type of stuff you're wearing, and what type of stuff you're doing, and what type of stuff you're even watching and listening and paying attention to. But something that I want to talk about today is on the idea of, I've heard this so many times, and I've dealt with this in my own life so many times, and I'm dealing with this even right now in my own life. You want something, you want help, you want to change, but you don't want to do it. It's a weird dilemma that you want to make something happen. You're like, I got to do something about that. But as much as you want to do something about changing that, or working on that, and fixing that, or getting through that, or understanding that, you don't want to do anything at all to involve actually getting or being in that change. That's something that is the most challenging thing with, I believe, a lot of people. And I'm even going to use this word because I hear this from a lot, especially a lot of ladies. Guys aren't just this upfront when they're speaking. Guys like to always just, I'm tough. And it's like, whatever. But I'm going to talk about the anxious dog in the house and the reactive dog being out in public. I think a lot of people, you want the dogs to get better with that, but you don't want it. You don't want it because it brings something, it does something for you. It gives you something. It keeps you safe in reality. Because I've heard this specific thing that, I'm kind of guilty of this myself, that I don't like to go places. I don't like to go far. I don't like to do too much. I don't like to be out too late because I want to be able to hang out with my dogs. And I use my dogs as an excuse, straight up. Why I can't go out. Why I can't this. Why I can't that. Because I got to feed the dogs. I got to give the dogs water. I got to walk the dogs. I got to do something with the dogs. I use it in that sense of I literally just want to say play with the dogs. I'm not getting home because the dog is anxious. But that's the part that I've heard this many times. My dog is anxious, so I need to get home. I can't work a double shift. My dog is scared at home by himself. I need to get home to the dog. And you like that. You want to help the dog out. The dog, when you get home, something new is chewed up. The curtains are broke down. The blinds are getting chewed down. Your door frames, your couch, your chairs, your everything. Something every day is just like it's getting worse and worse and worse. But you like that excuse that you have on you really don't want to be around people. You really don't like people that much. You're really kind of terrified of people. And if everything was good to go, you wouldn't have like this way to be able to say your coworkers, for instance, why you don't want to do something. But if you could say, because they could say, oh, you don't have no kids, especially if you don't have no kids. You don't have no kids. You don't have no husband even. You don't have no boyfriend even. You don't have no girlfriend. You don't have no wife. You don't have no none of that. What do you need to be rushing to get back home to? And you have that, oh, my dog. My dog is a little anxious. So if I'm not there if I leave for too long, then you just have these excuses. And you like that excuse. And when someone sees your dog, you have a valid excuse. Someone's going to see it and say, yeah, wow, I see exactly what you're saying. But if I was to use that excuse for my stuff, my dogs are anxious, my dogs are nervous, and he came and saw him, you'd be like, dude, you're a liar. Your dogs are they're just hanging out. But my excuse is, I just want to be with them, period. I don't care what you think about that. I don't care about what's going on with it, but I just want to hang out with them. I want to be able to do stuff with them. I want to be around them. And I like that excuse. It's a really cool excuse. But the excuse is in my mind where it's damaging when you're using it and you're not helping out the other being to get into a better place, and you're just keeping that dog in that, say, negative place for your own validation of having excuses. If your dog was perfect on leash and walking around, because a lot of people, y'all don't like to talk to folks. You don't like people even looking at you. You don't like people even near you. And this COVID stuff just kind of made it easier. The 6 foot distancing, it made it easier for us to just like purposely be able to say and do that. But a lot of people, you just don't like being around folks. We live in these neighborhoods, we live in these condo apartments, and we just do not want to entertain or interact or do nothing with nobody. And you're walking around a bunch of people all day. Especially, it's an unfortunate thing. Especially a young female walking around with your dog. You got to have every other guy trying to sit there and talk to you. And you're just like, I just want my space, give me my distance, leave me alone, keep me in my peace. Then his dog is barking. And you notice something. This barking dog it keeps everybody away. No one comes up to me. People even like look at me and they just look away and look at me and they're doing everything that I want. And then you start to like that the dog is doing that, but you don't like it. But you like what your excuses that you're able to get from it. Because if your dog was just beautiful, it was just standing next to your side and it was just like happy to see the whole world, pretty much almost in reality. An unfortunate thing is because this happens to me even today. The calmer, more presentable my dogs look to the public, the more everybody wants to stop and say hi. I mean, everybody just wants to come and see me, come and talk to the dog for a half a second, wants to just interact. They want to do something. For me, that's been a challenge because I've usually always been like, just stay the heck away. But I have to force myself through. I guess that's a fear of mine of just pushing myself to just, I gotta engage. I gotta get past this. Most people, you don't want to actually get past that. You like it. You want to stay in that stay the heck away from me stance. So when your dog is barking and lunging and going, pretty much nobody is going to want to be next to you. Nobody's going to want to say hi to you, especially if it's doing it to humans. You almost hit like the lottery jackpot in reality for some of y'all because you really just can't stand people. And now that your dog is barking at people, you want it to stop because it's kind of embarrassing you in a way. But at the same time, you're not embarrassed enough that it's making you want to change the main thing on why that dog is doing what it's doing. You don't want to change on being able to interact. And it's something that I would just say is this is stuff for me and why I understand. It's valid. It's valid. You don't want people around you and you have your dog barking at people. Cool. But the thing is, don't try to think that you want to change it and get help with it. Don't try to even seek for assistance on how to get help with it unless you actually really want the help. Because otherwise you're just going nowhere. And then all you're going to end up doing in the end is making things worse. This is little questions that I think a lot of people should really start to ask before you look for assistance. Do you actually like that your dog is doing what it's doing, but your neighbor and someone else and your friend or your parents or someone said, no, you need help, you need to work on this. And you're trying to please them, but you like what you got. You like that your dog barks at folks. You don't like it in that half a second. There's a little bit of like that fear comes in you for a second, like, oh my goodness, what's happening? But then once it's over with, you're like, yeah, stay the heck away from me. I'm glad that you're not around me. Like, stay on the other side of the road. I like it that when people are you're in your neighborhood walking with your dog and the people just cross the street. It does something to you. If you like that, don't seek help with the dog. Seek help with your own self to figure out what it is that you want to be able to move forward with. Because the biggest thing is you may not even want to seek help with yourself. You may just, that's who you are, that's what you want to be, and that's what you like. And just the main thing I guess I can say here is just accept that and understand that. And in reality, best case, you're going to notice that everything around with you and that dog and you and other people is just going to get better. It's going to get much, much better, much easier for you, much because you just accepted to say, you know what? I think the society is telling me that my dog barking is wrong. But I like that it does that because it keeps me safe. It keeps people off of my back. And just admit to that is what's going on here. I've heard this from so many people that this isn't just like a 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people type thing. I've heard this from dozens of people, especially dozens of ladies. And especially my very first work, I saw it. And in reality, straight up, I felt bad. Because especially when I would just come in and lay the law down on how to be able to get a dog to stop reacting. I used to be able to do that stuff and not even just a half a training session, just slap mainly it was that prong collar, maybe my slip leash onto that dog, and that dog just stopped. And then I would see that girl hold that leash, and that dog is just walking out, see her walk that dog, and I would see something was wrong. Something was real wrong. Something majorly wrong. Now her protection is gone. Now her way of being able to make sure that people don't approach is gone. And I could just see that it's like, I need to get that second dog that's going to mess this up so I could just keep on living in this chaos. And this chaos is the best word, to make sure that people stay away from me. And I would see that. I saw that so many times. Some people didn't want to speak up about it and others were just honest. And I'm like, I appreciate you for your honesty. I appreciate you for your honesty to say, you know what? I like that my dogs are a mess at the house. It gives me an excuse to have to get away. I can't stay late. I can't be out this. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't be gone long. I can't go on this vacation. I can't go on that trip. And you're just honest of saying that's why. I like that. I like being able to have that. Just like some people like to put extra on their children even. Extra disabilities and extra problems with them. Oh, I got to be there because of this. I got to be there because of that. And it's not actually really going on. But in most cases, you want the problem so someone else can actually see the problem. So you're not the only one that sees it. So then you can get everyone else to be on board with what it is that you got going on. So you're not a liar. You're being truthful. But to me, that's the part with, if your dog is barking out in public, to me, that's something that I would just say is, I don't know how to say this, but I'm just say straight up, who cares? Who cares? It's nothing that's like, it doesn't matter. But to the ones that are keeping your dog in an anxious state, making it stay in the house and doing nothing with it and keeping it be in this just depression, I'm going to say, an anxiety-ridden state, that's evil. That's not right. That's not right at all. That's not right to keep your dog in that stance just so that you can make yourself feel better about what it is that you're able to say and do to other people. There's something wrong with that. There's something real wrong with that. I don't see that too often, but I've heard this many a times. Too many times that it's just it's not right. That's not right. It's not right. You take your dog for a walk and it's a little nervous and it's a little scared and you don't really want to spend the hours and the time to be able to work them through that. Cool. That's like 20, 30 minutes of your day. But in the house, the dog is a blessed. It's a beautiful animal. It's just the best. It's great. It's calm. It's sleeping. It's chill. It's nice. It's agreeable. It's just the coolest of the coolest. I'm like, that's the part of having trade-offs in life. Sometimes you just don't have the time to do what you need to do. But I get it, because a lot of times, not even having the time, you actually want them to do what they're doing. And in this video, I just want people to just really think about these ideas a little bit, this concepts a little bit. Because when I was first walking the trails with my shepherd, I was out there. I don't know what it is. I do be making these videos, but I don't like it when people are all up on me. If it's not for work, if you calling me and I'm there and we're doing some work together or something, I'm cool. I could be there for hours, days, weeks, months. But if you're just like, hey, how's it going? Let's be buddies. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, you stay the heck over there. You stay over there. And I was going for a walk, and when my dog would start barking at some of these ladies and some of these people and some of these guys on the trails, I'm just like, cool, stay. Keep your dang distance. You see this shepherd? He's showing teeth at you. Just keep your distance. And it just made my life much easier. Especially I don't get it, me personally. Some of these trails that I go to, they're remote. It's nice to have a little level of, say, protection on you. That's not like a knife or a gun or something, but just something to just be like a big thing there to say, hey, get the heck away. That's why it's weird to me. I see a lot of y'all young ladies deep in these woods all by yourself. I'm just like, I walk past some guys that I'm like, man, this guy's sketchy. This guy's sketchy looking. How y'all doing that? It's so weird. So it's like, I get it on why you would want the dog to push people away and push them away and push them away. And it takes for you to have to learn how to be able to overcome the issues that you got to help that dog be able to get to a better place. Not thinking that dog is going to get good. Now you're going to get in a better place. That's why when you do the training on the dog, a couple of weeks later, it's right back to the same old thing again. Because we didn't fix us. We didn't change us. We didn't do something to us that we need to do to make things in our lives better. But it's stuff that I've just noticed that, I don't know why I'm talking about this today, but I've just noticed this so much that sometimes I just say what I got to say. In most cases, it's something that just hits me because one person needs to hear it. One person needs to realize why you're not getting any help with your dog. You're going everywhere because you actually don't want it. You don't want it. You don't want it. Not even that. You don't have time. You don't have resources. You ain't got no money for it. You just don't want it. You don't want it. You simply don't want it. And once you can just see that and accept that, then you may actually get the help that you're looking for. But until then, everything that you're looking for and everything that you're trying to do, everything that you're trying to research, everything that you're trying to study, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. It's the concept of, my main pastor man used a good term that it's just stuck in my brain now, is being double-minded. You can't be double-minded. You got to be, I want this, and then stick to that. As soon as you're like, I'm going to go over here, now we're going back and forth, you're not going to get anywhere. Nothing's going to get done. Nothing is going to get done in that sense because you're going to keep going back and forth. One day you're like, oh, I want to do this. And the next day you're like, oh, no, I don't want to do this. Next day, oh, I want to do it for this. The next day, oh, I don't want to do it. You're just going back and forth, and you're not going to get anywhere. Nothing's going to happen from it. You got to just stay at it. That's the thing with me and my Dalmatian that I believe why me and her are just on I don't know how to say it, in my opinion, with how I work and what I see and how she is with any other dog that I have. She's the best, the most joyful to be around, the best dog that I've ever had. Because I made a decision. In the beginning, when I first had her, I was double-minded. Well, I want to do this. No, I want to do this. No, I want to do this. And then I just decided I'm doing this with this dog. And I'm going to try it out. And I'm going to do this regardless of what happens. And if that means that, because I've even said it to her, because something that she was missing in the beginning, I didn't go around people. I didn't like to mingle around people. And she looked at me and she says, hey, buddy, I need to do this. I need this. I need to be able to say hi to folks. I need to be able to say hi to another dog. I need to be able to just go play with another dog. I need to go just be able to have someone else just be around me, just pet me, and just say baby nothing, sweet nothings to me. And she needed that, and I couldn't stand that. And for me, I had to stay on my single-mindedness of saying, I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to do what it is that you want to do. And that's allowed me to be able to say today, just freely talk to people more and more than I've ever been able to. Even today, I had to go to tire shop again today. I had to do my first, not my first, was it my first? Yeah, it was my first ever flat tire change on the side of the road. I don't think I've ever done that before. I go to the tire shop, and there's the people, and they're just like looking at her, they're just like, oh wow, is she friendly? I'm like, yeah, she lets you pet her, you can pet her. And she just spent like 20, 30 minutes with this girl, just having a good time with her. And I'm just like, dude, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. And her doing that has allowed me to be able to also do that same thing and not keep trying to run away from it, not being scared of it anymore. And at the same time, that's helped my shepherd in the same way. He just doesn't like people. He's kind of paired up, be like me. I don't like people. I don't want people around me. But now today, he's pushed past that. He'll let anybody that's willing to touch him. Anybody to be around him. So I had to stay on my mission of saying, I do want this. I do want to do this. And not one day saying, oh no, well, I'm not going to allow you. Oh yes, oh no, oh yes. It was just, this is what we're doing. We're headed straight into it. And it's transformed my life. I don't even say changed. It's transformed my life into being something much different. I don't even want to say better or worse, but just different. And it took for me to have to really just, hold on, girl. You got a bug on you. It took for me to, okay, it's just like a beetle. Have to make a decision of wondering like what is it that I'm actually wanting? What is it that I actually am desiring? Because I was living with these dogs for so long and just in this sense of, I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. I felt like I needed too much punishment and too much hooting and hollering and yelling and babbling and banging my head against the wall and just going crazy. That in reality, I guess I could say I was kind of fine with that. I was fine with it. But then I wanted to do a change, have something different behind me. Being able to experience different things. And then that's where this whole transformation with working with these dogs came from me. Because I no longer want to have these excuses. I no longer want to have these, I need to be there because of this. I got to do this because of that. My dog is so messed up, that's why I can't go out. My dog is so this, that's why I can't go for a walk or go for this or go for that or have people over or do anything. Because I've heard that as well. I don't know what it is. I think the main thing is y'all ladies are more open with speaking, which is cool. And I wish that men would also do the same stuff, which would make it even cooler, so that we can actually like have a better society, especially if more men would just speak up. You struggling? It's all right, man. It's all good. We speak up about it. Stop acting like, because when you act like everything is good, then nothing's going to really come to you to help you out with what you're struggling with. But if you're struggling, just ask for some assistance with that struggle. But I've heard this before, that you like your dog crazy as all could be in the house, that just barks savagely to everybody because you don't want anybody there. You don't want anyone to come by. Not even in a sense of someone's going to rob you. No one's going to rob you. Because you look in your apartment right now, you're like, I ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing in here for no one to be able to take anyways. They might make a couple $1,000 off me, but who's going to, I mean, not nobody, but they're not as big, or around here at least, or shoot, around where I live. We don't know, like no one gets robbed around here. But not no one, but it's like that stuff that we just don't have like crime where I live. It's a very weird thing. And that's why we just don't have no police around either. It's just it's a very weird place where I live. But I didn't always live here, and I've lived other places that it's like lock your doors or your stuff's about to be gone. Get an alarm system on the house or your stuff's about to be gone. But I'm not talking about it in that sense. I'm talking about it in the sense of you just don't like people. You just don't want no one around. And you want to always have that excuse for when that girl or that guy at work says, hey, let's hang out after work. You're like, nope, you can't come to my house because my dog will eat your face off. And you always have that excuse to be able to put out there. And as long as you always have that excuse and you're wanting your dog to keep doing that, don't ever think that you want to get your dog better now. Just leave that part alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Just keep working. Have the dog keep doing what the dog is doing. Because then you're going to start to be conflicting. And that confusion is what's going to start to drive everything that just in reality get worse. You're going to start coming with conflicting information. This is the part with me. I'm far enough in this video. Why I believe personally that balanced dog training is the worst for the dogs. Because you're giving them conflicting information. You're punishing them 1 second, and then you're giving them a treat the next second. You're punishing them 1 second, and then you're giving them affection the next second. You're punishing them 2 seconds, and it's just this back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You're going to go insane, absolutely insane. And then what happens is the dog is just going to have to just shut down. This may not be the word that a lot of people like to hear, but shut down. The dog's not going to know what to do. So it's going to do what it thinks you want, and it's going to, this is the part where I see dogs that'll start doing obedience cues in the hopes not something bad to happen to them. So they'll sit, look so pretty, and you're like, what are you doing that for? I don't want that. And then the dog's like, I'm doing it, just so that the punishment doesn't come. And they just keep going round and round and round with that. Oreo, oh, for y'all done. You got to give me 2 weeks. I think she's about to come in the heat. I think that time is coming on. I got a race coming up not this weekend, but next weekend. And I want to run this race with her. And I don't want her to come in the heat and drive some of these boys out there absolutely insane. But it'll be the first section, so it won't be the bad if she catches it right now. But she's in that time where it's like her cycle is going to start here soon. And so when Oreo ever gives an extra sniff to her, I know it's coming soon. He's the one that's on it first. His nose, Shadow's nose is powerful, but Oreo's nose is like, it's incredible what this border collie can smell out. He could smell out something incredible. But I need you to give me a week because we're running this race. It's happening. And then I got another race the next month after that I'm going to run with her again. So I'm excited about that, being able to just do more and go out more. But it's something that I've just really been paying close attention to and actually just listening to what people have to say and watching people's videos and listening to what they say and seeing how they are and with everything with these, especially these dogs. Most of the stuff that I see that most people are struggling with, you're actually happy with it. You're fine with it. I don't want to use the word happy. You're fine with it. It's okay for you. And you want help, but you don't want help. And if that's what's going on and you have that conflicting interest going on, just stop trying to put the pressure on the dog to get it to stop when you actually want them to do it. Thank you. I don't know what it is. When I was in a dog training school, like literally like the first week was like all about just safety and protecting yourself. The second week we actually started like working the dogs, and it came down to giving them a treat to get them to sit and then applying the leash pressure to get them to sit and then going back and forth. It never made sense to me. I was like, I'm seriously literally choking this dog. And for someone that says you can't choke a dog with a slip leash, I'm telling you, I don't know what world you live in. It happens. I've seen it. I've felt it. I've experienced everything, all this stuff on seeing dogs that because that's the point of that leash. It's going to tension up to the point that it's going to start restrict airflow. And I don't know any animal that you could just hold that leash on it and think that it's just not going to lose its airflow. Because you could do that to everything, even to the chickens. You hold the neck on the chicken starts gasping. Everything does that. We've got windpipes and all that stuff that's going through. You block it. But it never made sense to me on literally like halfway taking a dog's life. And then once it does it, you're like, oh, here's a treat. It's like, it's so conflicting. There's no consistency there. It's like just this back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You got to be consistent. You might as well just stay with the pressure or just stay with the treat. But going back and forth, that's what's weird. And I believe that concept is what a lot of people, y'all are dealing with your dogs. You want the dog to stop barking, but you want them to bark. You want them to stop, you want them to go. You want them to stop, you want them to go. It doesn't work that way. It can work that way if you're willing to put in the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of work behind it to be able to make that happen. It can work that way. You can have an awesome protection dog that is going to bark on command and stop on command if you work on it. And that's what most people want. But you don't put that work in, but you want them to stop when you want them to stop. And you don't put the work in to get the dog to understand, like, say, this is a game. I don't actually need you to go into survival mode. Because most of these dogs are going into survival of, I need to bark this threat away, and then you can't get them to stop. And then you can't even like get them to start. You're using your body in a way of getting scared so that the dog is responding off of that. That's so wrong to do to these dogs. It's so wrong to them. If you want the dog to bark, then allow the dog to do the bark. But if you want to be able to figure out how to be able to get the dog to stop barking, you got to put work in. You got to put a lot of work in. You got to dig deep. You got to just cancel 3 TV shows every day and just start really working on that every single day from now on. You got to put the work in. You got to just kind of exit everything else out and just focus on dog and work on dog to be able to get that. That's not something that's so simple and easy to get. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of patience. Oh my goodness, patience. A lot of patience. Well, most people, you don't want to do that. So then the next step is, I want it the fast and easy way. And the fast and easy way is conflicting to the dog, because you're saying yes and then you're saying no. Saying yes, but no. Yes, but no. And the dog doesn't understand that. The dog shouldn't be punished to have to bark. The dog shouldn't be punished to have to stop the bark. That's the thing that's going on. The dog shouldn't need to be rewarded to bark. The dog shouldn't be rewarded to have to stop the bark. But that's the games that we're playing. And as long as you're playing those games, that's confusing. It's very confusing. When all your body presence is saying, no, I don't want this, the dog's going to stop. I don't know how to make it that simpler, because it's that simple. You'll watch it all day long on YouTube channels. I don't care what type of training methods they do. You'll watch a guy, mainly, I don't know what it is. I think that my feed is kind of, the word I want to use is sexist, because they only send me male stuff instead of like showing me like a 50-50 balance here. Because even my own channel, it's 80, I think the last time I looked at it, it was like almost 78, 77% men and 23% women. And for some reason, it doesn't want to just give to an even split. And me personally, I know how to speak to men more than I know how to speak to women. Even though I speak to more women than I speak to men, men are just silently there. But it's something that I like to be able to talk to guys, especially younger guys that are doing the same stuff that I've been doing and figuring out. But I've just noticed that whoever has that leash, the dog stops doing what the dog was doing with that owner. It's creepy on how it can happen almost instantly for a lot of this stuff. The dog is reactive to the dogs. The trainer grabs a leash and he walks around in a circle, and the dog is able to see 20 dogs, like literally in 30 seconds. It's not even a gimmick. It's not lies. It's not manipulation. It's because that person that is holding that leash says, I do not want you to do this. That's what their body is saying. Every time I hold a leash of a dog that's reactive, I'm saying to that dog, no. I don't say it out of my mouth, but my body, my presence, my being is saying, I do not want you to, you are done. You're done. What you used to do, you're done. That's finished. That's over with. And then you can hand the leash right back. The guy did nothing with didn't do nothing with the dog, but just like do a figure 8 or something. Hold the dog, had the dog on a leash, and the dog stops. Hand the leash back to the owner, and the dog is flipping out instantly again. Instantly. Nothing's changed. Nothing's happened. The main thing is that owner, it still has in their body of, I actually want you to do that. Please do that. Because the dog will look up at you. It'll look over at you. And it's going to look you up and down and say, okay, I'll go back to barking again. But the dog's going to look over at that trainer that's holding that dog. He's going to look at that trainer and say, yep, we're not barking. Now's not the time to do that. I see this over and over and over, and I do this all the time. And I handle this, and I've just experienced this my own personal. But you can go online and watch this happen thousands and thousands and thousands of times. I don't care, man or a woman, grab the dog, and the dog just stops doing what the dog is doing because that person decided and said, I don't want this. I don't want my dogs doing this. And the dog stops. The dog stops. No training in reality behind it. The dog just stops. And someone would say, oh, it's because the dog is scared with that person. But we're still in the same room. They can still see the owners right there. The dog's not that dumb. And I don't want people to put that the dogs are that stupid. The owner is literally right there 10 feet away, and the dog stops doing it because of who is holding that leash. Who's holding that leash is what changes the dog. What you're saying to that dog is what changes the dog. Not the training that you're putting on the dog. What you're saying. If you're saying, I want you to be scared because I'm scared, then the dog's going to be scared. I want you to make sure that that dog stays away from me. Your dog's going to make real good sure that that dog's going to stay away from you. It's going to do its job. It's going to do what it's got to do. And some of these dogs are powerful, that they strong, and they'll make sure that nothing comes around, that nothing comes near. No one goes through that front door. No one gets inside of your vehicle. No one can stand within that 6 feet bubble of you. It's interesting. It's kind of a similar concept of we all got, because the parks I go to now, that's why I like going to the one that I go to, because it's open, free backwoods. There's no one out there. There's no rules. So I could just let my dogs be. But all the other parks, they're very strict today. They're no longer allowing people to have flexi leashes. There's no longer allowing 20, 15-foot leashes. Everything is a static 6-foot leash max. And if the leash is on the harness, they're wanting a 5-foot leash with that harness because the dog is able to get a little bit further away. They're strict. They're super strict on these things. And that strictness is the same as what the COVID was. 6 feet, please. We used to have the things in the grocery stores that we used to have the little markers on the ground that was keeping everybody so far away. It's like everything is just this weird universal thing. And you're scared to keep people away. And now we're just doing the same stuff with the dogs over and over again. You're scared. You don't want people to stay next to you. So you get your dog to push everything away. The moment that you decide that you don't want that, your dog's going to stop doing it. But you have to be single. You have to be consistent. I don't want it no more. And watch how day by week by month, it's going to disappear. It's not going to come down to no training. You're going to watch it disappear. Because your body is going to say to that dog, because I've done this so many times. Sometimes, especially old work I used to do, and it wasn't so much as like having to use the prong collar hard enough to get the dog to stop. Sometimes you just had to look at the dog and just say no. And you would watch the dog like, and the dog's like, oh, okay, well, all right, you don't want that. We're good. Sorry, Elfie. She don't even know what that is. She just looked at me all excited. I said no, all crazy. She's like, hey, what's going on? But my dog is man, this dog is, she's the best one I've had, because I never worked her with these like the weirdness. I've always been very consistent on just basically kind of almost in a way of always saying yes to her. Always just, we're good. And then I could say no so simply, and she's just like, oh, it's okay. No, we're not doing that. It's just it's the neatest thing. But sometimes with some folks, if you really don't want the dog to bark anymore, and the dog is out in public, if you really don't want it, and you just say no to that dog, you look at him. Don't be yanking no leash. Don't be doing nothing. But just your body says, I'm done. I'm fed up. I'm tired of seeing you do this. And you stick to that every single day. You're going to watch your dog get better. Because you're saying no now. You're saying, I don't want you to do this anymore. And you're going to see something just incredible. I don't know why and how, but it's just how simple it really is. But it's not simple. Because it means that now you have to be consistent with what you do. You said no, it's no. It's not yes sometimes. It's not yes here and there. It's not yes because I'm a little sore, I'm a little tired today. It's no all the time. And then once they have that clear boundary of no is no, we're done. Then you can bring in some other stuff. Then you can say, okay, it's a bark at that. Then it's okay, oh, you could do this a little bit over there. But in most cases, it's not going to come back out again. It's just going to disappear. It's going to go, with a dog training term, it's going to go extinct because you said no. And you said no every day, in every situation, and every single time, over and over and over and over and over and over and over. It has nothing to do with what you're even verbally saying. It has everything to do with your mindset of saying no, and stay at that. And you'll just watch how things just get so much better in your life.